This is Chris with Nobody Gets Left Behind or Forgotten. I just wanted to touch base and kind of reach out video to video here and address some of the issues that have been brought up about my most recent post, the Fortifying the Walls post. If you have not yet seen it, I will link it below. But we wrote a post this weekend after completing a project that we've been after for a while. Those of you who follow the page know that my boys struggle with a lot of disabilities, and part of that is a lot of aggressive behavior toward themselves, others, and items. So they have a tendency to break things. In our time with them, they have broken beds, they have broken bookshelves, toy boxes, a lot of walls, a lot of windows. So in speaking with DCF, which is our child protection group down here in Florida, and the local police department to try to make sure that they can be safe, we've been working on a plan to ensure the safety of themselves, of us, of the house, so on and so forth. So we started out covering up the windows with plywood. We did this a few months ago after both windows were smashed out, and due to their autism spectrum disorder and things like that, they are prone to elopements, which happened quite a few times with Malik over this past summer. The local police department basically told us, figure out a way to make this stop or we're going to keep calling DCF on you. Now, none of the elopements occurred while we were at home, but still, our children are a problem. So we fortified the house. We put locks on the doors that required keys to be able to open them. We did everything in our power. The local police department said we were good to go. They even brought us some door alarms, as if that's going to help. That's just going to let us know they've escaped. So we went through that whole process. DCF came out, said we were good to go. We went over safety planning so that in case of an emergency, we knew exactly what to do, because it is more difficult to get out of a fortified house. So we did all that, and then the wall breaking started to get a lot worse because they couldn't get to the windows. So they smashed up, I want to say about half a dozen holes in the wall to begin with, about fist-size holes, so, you know, about this big, and then they realized how easy it was to continue to break the drywall once there was already holes. So the holes got bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can't see my hands, you know, anymore, but they were pretty much the size of my children because they just kept smashing into the walls. Not too big of a deal until they started scratching at the drywall to get pieces out, using that to attempt to self-injure, which then required us removing that stuff from them, which sometimes required us to physically restrain them from harming themselves. There were attempts to eat the drywall. There were rubbing their arms and legs against the insulation that was in the walls, which is all incredibly unsafe. So we worked with our providers, our people, our team, to try to come up with a safe alternative to what was going on. We decided to fortify the walls. Fixing the walls wasn't helping. We replaced the drywall in the holes probably 4 or 5 times, and I mean, they know where the weak spots were, so they would just continue to break them on the same spots, you know, wasting money for drywall and supplies, and, you know, it's not safe. That's our primary objective, is safety. So we decided to take our plywood that we had in the garage, or in the shed rather, and put it up on the walls. Now, I would encourage you to check out the post and see how terribly ugly it is, because by no means is this an end-all be-all fix for everything, but all in all, I don't care how ugly it is so long as my children are safe. So now that we've got that out of the way, we have had quite a bit of backlash, because when I post, I share it to any of the avenues that I think might find parents who need to hear these things. So I'm a member of a couple of different support groups online. foster parents and adoptive parents groups, parents with children with reactive attachment disorder, which I post to a lot because that is a primary disability that the children deal with. So I posted onto there and got a lot of great feedback. A lot of parents saying, good job, this is awesome, what a great idea, what an inexpensive alternative to make sure everyone's safe. And then I got the backlash from the savior moms. We all know the savior moms. The savior moms know better than all of us. The savior moms would never do such a thing. The savior moms think that, you know, children are God's gift to the world and we should bow down to them. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my children. We've been over this. I do love my kids. They are wonderful little humans, and sometimes they suck. Let's be honest. Savior moms apparently just have wonderful children who, you know, never have been a safety issue to themselves. So the savior moms turned it on. They told me that I have no right to be a parent, that I am imprisoning my children, that this is such a fire hazard, that I should be arrested, so on and so forth. Now, other moms are like, hey, you have no idea what this mom goes through. If you followed her website, if you followed her stuff, then you would understand that this is nothing but a safety thing, so on and so forth. So a battle blew out on a couple of these posts that I had posted in some of these support groups. It got so adversarial that one of the administrators of one of the groups, who I have fundamental differences with to begin with, the only reason I stayed in the group after the first couple times I had had issues with this woman was because the other parents in the group that I had interacted with really seemed to benefit from my content. So I continued to post there and interact with the other parents. Meanwhile, this woman and I do not get along. I think she's terrible. I don't agree with her parenting practices. I don't agree with the way that she treats people, so on and so forth. So she told me that all of this nastiness, I won't even get into it because that's not important, just all of this nastiness, and then told me I needed to watch my tone. And that's when I was just done. I went back to reply to the other parents, letting them know that they could follow the website to keep track of me, but I'd be, you know, leaving the group. In the middle of me doing that, I had posted to about 2 parents that I had spoken to that, you know, were asking for more information. This woman blocked me from the group. So she pretty much just closed me out to any of those parents. So that just sucks because, you know, these are parents that had been following my work for a while. So hopefully they're still able to find the website. They like my Facebook page and things like that. But certain people had messaged me and told me, take the post down, that's embarrassing, you're embarrassing your children, you're embarrassing yourself, this is terrible, so on and so forth. So I won't be taking the post down because there were more views on that post than any post that I have done since I started the website a couple months ago. And I don't do this for the likes. I don't do this to make the savior moms happy. I do this for all of us parents who feel entirely alone in the world and feel like no one can possibly understand our struggles. Those are the parents that I do this for. And for me, I mean, there's no secret that my website is a huge part of self-care for me, connecting with other parents who are going through similar times. But what I want for people to understand is you're not going to agree with everything that I say. And I get that. I am always open to hearing alternative things. A lot of wonderful parents made suggestions on how we could decorate the plywood so that it was more homey, which we're always looking for. We're not trying to make our kids' lives miserable, although sometimes it feels like my kids are trying to make my life miserable. But we do plan to decorate the plywood to make it, you know, look like a room. Just because it's stronger doesn't mean it has to be a punishment. This is not a punishment. I just want my kids to be safe. And I was terrified that one day they were just gonna bust through the other end of the wall and end up outside, which would allow animals and intruders into my home, which I'm just not okay with. So this was a safety measure. I appreciate every single one of you that follows our content. We love expanding our little ohana to every parent and every child out there that needs it. We love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're watching this and you are part of the group that I was banned from, then awesome, I'm glad you found us. If you think you know somebody who needs our content, please share it. At this point, I'm not making any money off of this website. I'm not, you know, doing anything like that. Hopefully one day I can figure out all of the logistics to be able to do that, and we have every intention on expanding out to be able to try to make some money, to be able to possibly team with some wonderful companies that can bring us all information and products that can help us as parents, because that's really what this is about. But if you have any feedback, anything you want to share with us, anything you want us to cover that you're like, hey, I can't really talk about this with other parents, have you been through this? Let me know. Put it in the comments below. You can send us an email. I actually was giving out the wrong email address before. It's still an email, but my website email is nobodygetsleft2016@gmail.com. That comes directly to my phone. So any questions, anything at all, shoot me an email. You can use the comments below or the comments on the website, anything along those lines, to get in touch with us if you have any questions whatsoever, any topics you want explored. You can hit me up privately or publicly. Let's get the voices open. That's why we're all here to support each other. So we love you. Happy Monday. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon. Thanks.